Members of the National Education, Health and Allied Workers Union, NEHAWU, have embarked on a strike action at the University of Pretoria. The workers are demanding a 7% salary increase while their employer is offering 4%. They have blocked the entrance to the university's main campus in Pretoria, accusing their employer of arrogance and negotiating in bad faith. For more on this, we cross live to SABC News economics reporter Katlego Legodi. Katlego, thanks so much for your time. Give us a sense of the developments on your end.
A very good afternoon to you, Nastasia, and to our viewers at home. Well, when you look at it, it's really all systems go in terms of the downing of tools from the workers of the University of Pretoria. We see them coming out in their numbers, occupying the main road leading into the university, this being University Road, just airing their dissatisfaction today over engagements that have been ongoing with the management of the institution from last year already. At the crux of where we find ourselves today is around issues of wages, Nastasia, whereby the employer is offering around 4%, while the workers here want an above-inflation wage offer that is hovering at around 7%. So we see them really abandoning their posts today, and as we speak, there's nothing happening at the University of Pretoria's main campus, as we understand that most of those workers that were supposed to be manning the desks and ensuring that there's a movement within the university are out here, are just demonstrating out in their numbers, led of course by the National Allied and Health Workers Union, this being NEHAWU. I'm going to bring them into the conversation this afternoon with us, Nastasia, this being the chief negotiator from NEHAWU at the University of Pretoria. We know very well that it's been a marathon of engagements with the employer, trying by all means to find each other. They started at 2% and now they are at 4%. The workers really not moving where that above inflation 7% wage increment is concerned. Sipa, welcome to the SABC. Give us a sense of why we find ourselves here and how has it been, the bargaining process with the employer?
Thank you for inviting us. The problem there we are having is it's an employer that's very, very arrogant. One is that when we started these negotiations, they brought in a director, the finance director, to come and give the finances of the university, where he explained a lot of things, which we also made submission as a union, is that we're not like ignorant to those particular submission from the finance director. One is that he claimed the issue of the diesel, that they were spending so much amount of money on the diesel, which we also made a submission on that there is a policy currently that is in existence, so work from home, which the current VC, the interim VC, has decided to abandon that policy without doing any consultation with us. Any labor was not even invited, but the policy was then put on hold. We are not sure why. And there are other aspects as well that we've put as well as the union as a submission in terms of mitigating the finances of the university. But seemingly whatever that we have submitted, it was never accepted by the university.
Just give us a sense then on what really led to workers abandoning their posts, because we understand that the no work, no pay principle has kicked in as we see the workers not behind their desks.
The issues that we have tackled, management only started at 2%, they went to 4%, and we are at 7%. There was no movement even when the commissioner, the same commissioner, tried to intervene on these matters, that they need to substantiate their 4%. They need to tell us exactly where they're struggling, because surely UP cannot come and claim that their problems are unique from other institutions like UNISA, UTT and all that. We are all receiving the same grant from the government. What is that is different? Because the same thing that the commissioner wanted them to actually mitigate, they substantiate the 4%, but they could not even substantiate their 4%, which led us here now today that there is a deadlock where management is at 4%, we are at 7%.
How far are you willing to take it as the workers? Is there an indication from the employer that they're coming to the party? You are the chief negotiator.
I'm actually very surprised. By now, I would have expected the same VC to have sent a delegation to come and say, okay, I want to speak to the leadership of the unions that we are still open to negotiations. But we learned that he's not even here. He left while the workers started protesting, which shows the arrogance actually from management and not even caring, the caring employer that we think we are working for. by now they would have come to us and said, okay, we are open, because when we left the negotiating table on the deadlock, we said to them we are open for further engagement. If there's anything on the table, you can call us, we can consider, we can then be able to sell that particular whatever that we're giving us to our members.
And just give us a sense of the plight of workers, the challenges that they're experiencing, as we understand that the cost of living is too high. Here we're talking about support staff, cleaners, we're talking about security officials, those that are administering the system in terms of administrators and the likes. Really, how far can this 7% go for them? And the 4%, is this something that won't work as we speak right now, since they've decided to down tools?
Even the 7% itself is actually a compromise. It will assist workers to some extent, but the 4% is actually killing them, because they won't be able to afford certain things, food for in case, to pay for school fees for their children, even transportation to come to work. They won't be able to come here because transportation went up. It's actually 4% in itself. It's murder, according to me, if I can put it in that way, to be simply to be understood.
And just before I let you go, Sipho, we'll be seeing the finance minister in the coming week just taken to the podium there in Cape Town to give us a sense of the budget. And you mentioned issues of grants given to higher education. Hence, we see the university here. Sometimes institutions coming through to say that they don't have money to meet the expectations of the workers. What would be your expectations as workers, especially in this sector where the finance minister is concerned in that budget next week?
Actually, even for UP, it will be unfair when they will be saying that they are not getting sufficient grants, because in terms of our academic outputs, they're actually one of the best universities. They've got best academics here, best researchers who are actually producing quite extensive research, which also it's an income on itself to this particular institution. Also the issue of rest in itself, the accommodation, I think it went up by some 7 something%, which is also an income stream to this particular university. Also the student fees also went up with some percentage. We are meeting with SASCO leadership also to discuss this matter further. It's either they join us by next week or so that we can see how far can we push management.
Sipho, thank you very much, man, for your time. Sipho Mankane coming through there as the chief negotiator from NEHAWU. I must say that, Nastasia, as we look at it, this is the beginning of the year, and we would have expected to see a hive of activity at the institution, and the workers saying that they were strategic in terms of ensuring that they send a strong message to the employer. I'm going to step out of shot for my colleagues here to show you what is happening here. These are University of Pretoria workers that have downed tools today. There's no movement into the institution as we speak right now. A compromise, that being, Nastasia, the no work, no pay principle that have kicked in. So you see them just staging a sit down right now. They were demonstrating earlier on. They were being addressed as well. We constantly see their seniors coming through from NEHAWU, also just more or less addressing them about how far or where they are with the employer. But the employer, we hear, not coming to the party as we speak right now. And these workers are willing to take it all the way, Nastasia, in terms of just making sure that they send a strong message to the employer. But they're also calling on the academics and the students from the University of Pretoria to join into their plight here and try by all means to join in the demonstrations here in terms of sending a strong message to the employer over this wage impasse. Nastasia, it's back to you in studio.
Thank you to SABC News economics reporter Katlego Legodi.